this wider. Hey everybody, how's it going? We're gonna do a live stream with my favorite human in the world, Garth. I mean my wife. How's it going, everybody? How are we doing? Oh, I'm gonna keep the hat on. The hair's looking weird. The November no shave thing's looking weird. For those of you watching this later, let's say that I'm gonna put a timestamp. I'll pin a comment with the timestamp because, of course, we're gonna do introductions, hellos, and that stuff at the very beginning. We usually get rolling. I usually post the video 5 minutes after it's posted. I go live after the time it says, because that's when people show up generally. And then usually we banter for 10 or 15 minutes about how everyone's doing and what's new. I've got some Black Friday / Cyber Monday codes for you guys that we'll go over. And my artwork, my shirts, are on sale for 25% off. So that's the mechanical wind-up Catfish.
I added this nice touch to
it. She is a butt rocker from the 80s, and so she's going to probably cut the sleeves off next, and maybe then cut it in half and then tie it together,
Maybe.
So is there a back on that shirt, honey?
Yeah.
So the back of the shirt has a normal corridor, a stylineatus on it. So you get front and back on those. But if you use the code, all caps, no spaces, the secret, now through Monday night at midnight, you'll get 25% off all my artwork on Teespring. There's a link to Teespring in the description. There's also, you want to pull up the website, honey? All right, so let's bring it over here. So we're gonna flip this around real quick. It's right in my face. Don't worry about me. Okay, so there should be some tabs if you want right below your chat box on the where there's advertising on YouTube in the app. So you might see some shirts. You can click there, or you can go to the description and there's a link in there. But I've got a variety of designs. We're going to go over this real quick because you guys can look in your own time. We've got everything from a salmon. Let's see, let it zoom in. Of course, it's trying to get ads. So we got everything from this salmon hoodie. This one's just one-sided. Or actually, is it? No, this one has it on the front and back. There's never any branding on my clothing. I don't do the secret history written on anything. But as you can see too, there's also there's a hoodie with the beta on the back, and on the front it's got a wind-up beta. Kind of steampunk or cyberpunk, whatever you want to call it, more steampunk. But there's shrimp on the sides, to the phone, Paradina shrimp, to the phone case with celestial pearl danios, the betas, the steampunk, what is this, debunking goldfish, I think originally was the idea. And then there's the pillow. If you need a pillow, if you want a beta on a mug, I mean, and if you don't see a color, a size, or a cut of something that you like, here's one with Shelly's, shell dwellers, all hanging out, coming out of a shell with the golden ratio, which we're going to talk about some of that stuff soon. But here we've got the celestial pearl danio design, just so you can see it. So that's that one. There's just the one-sided version of that one. But yeah, things on it. We've got the goldfish with this. I think this was made specifically for Ginger, and it is her commission of her Shellies on the back and a goldfish on the front. So that's pretty specific. But if there's something that you guys really want, like you're like, oh, I want to get a hoodie for my husband, or this or that for myself, that's, the Corridoras with the shrimp and on a blue V-neck shirt, or whatever it may be, I can do that. I can move things around, and I will most likely be adding some new product lines to... Hold on, it's always zoomed in close when we do that. Hold on. There we go. All right, so I'll be adding new product lines also to all of that. So the next order of business is going to be the discount codes for Aquatic Arts. I just ordered $250 worth of stuff from Aquatic Arts.
He's cut off.
Yeah, I was cut off before she knew I spent the money, I think. But in any case, so I spent my money and I got some red lizard whiptail catfish. I got hopefully some half beaks. They said that they were monitoring the half beaks, so that's why I say hopefully. And then I got a pair of bettas and a pair of gold and blue endlers, and gonna get some nearite snails. Yeah, I don't know. I got a bunch of stuff, so we'll do an unboxing of that later. And we're gonna have a special sale that they're putting on. Just hold on, guys. Just for all of us here on my channel. So there'll be a special sale for us. And the sale that's going on, if you want to contribute to how much they give us a discount on our sale for us, it's gonna be, the codes are gonna be in the description below. And the one change though is that I guess the 25% off starts Sunday. I messed that up. So it's all caps secret BF Black Friday 20 for today and yesterday, which yesterday, whatever. And so secret BF 20 for today. Tomorrow's secret BF 25, and Monday is secret CM for Cyber Monday 30. So you can get up to 30% off, but they might be selling out of stuff. That's kind of the risk you take if you don't buy it. All right, so now let's get comfy, honey, because we're going to say hello to folks. I said my little advertising spiel. I really like Aquatic Arts, and so...
Do you have a code for your Teespring?
Yes, the Teespring code is The Secret, all in caps. And so you get 25% off that. So basically, you get my profit. So get a free shirt while I'm doing it for a couple days. Or like near cost on almost all of them. Okay, so let's see who's in the chat real quick. Then we'll just jump to the bottom. So if you have questions today, hit the @ sign and then The Secret History Living in Your Aquarium, write a novel. And if you have, and they can be about anything, that's how it rolls here. But it'd be nice if they pertain to the subject at hand while we are here together, right? So, and while I'm talking about it. And today what we're going to talk about is going to be some mathematics, but we're not going to get into the formulas and equations too much. I mean, I'll probably show it to you on some paper, but I know that most people don't care about that, nor do they want to spend any more time other than the time they were forced to in high school or whatever.
I talked him out of giving you guys a test at the end.
Yeah, she. So there is a group activity we're going to do, though, and I'm going to need people to participate. And we're going to need, 25 or 50 people to participate. We'll see how it goes. But in any case, hey, Jess, how's it going at Manes, Tails, Fur, and Fins? The other thing I have to announce while we're doing all the announcements, I feel like I always have a million announcements. Is it just because I talk a lot? Yeah. So the other thing I have is that Jess, on her channel, Manes, Tails, Fur, and Fins, she's going to hop on my channel. So we're going to do a home show on this coming Tuesday. Whoever wants to share their tanks at home, we'll be doing a StreamYard live stream, so it won't just be me like normal. It'll be the first time we're going to have a bunch of people on. Well, Mary's going to host this week. Then the week after, if it goes smoothly and everything, obviously, and we have people to do it, then I have asked Jess, and she said yes, from Manes, Tails, Fur, and Fins to help co-host on that. And so we kind of want to do some running things where we kind of have a panel or guest hosts and things like that. And so I just wanted to kind of put that in everyone's mind. And yeah. So, Angelica Vallo, hello. Oh my gosh, it's a cat. Yes. Lori, how's it going? Thank you for posting the Patreon link. I appreciate that. Obviously, Super Chat, Patreon, all those things are very helpful. Mridgel, good to see you. This morning, Mridgel and I were sitting I think we were kind of the only people sitting in there, but we were watching this pretty good talk put on by the Aquatic Gardeners Association about submersed and, well, actually mostly immersed plants in Florida at a nursery. Muppet, how's it going? John McKenzie, Hayden, Craig, Chevy Fish, how are you doing, my friend? Pat, hey there, buddy. Who else? You guys are all just saying hey to each other. Hey, S. What's up, S? John McKenzie, I think I already said that, but oh, Peeps Lost Sheep. Hello. She says, don't forget to hit that like button. That's right. If you feel like hitting it, hit it. If you feel like hitting, if you feel like not hitting it, then feel like go for it. Martin Dollinger with his comment, deleted again. Dude, I don't know what you do, but you piss off my mods a lot, so you're the only one. Seriously, the only one. So yeah. Thanks, mods. I trust in your judgment. And Vinoski Tanks. Hello. Jerry, Serple Morris, and mods, if you're just tired of that dude, like seriously, it's up to you. I don't have to deal with him in the chats that much. But you can ban him, I mean, if you want, and I'll make that official if you want. I've never done that to anyone, but it looks like he's here again, and you guys had to handle it. So thanks for doing so. I assume it was spamming or saying get to the point, things that I already know. Like don't hang out if you don't want to kind of get an overview. If you don't want the discount codes for free things, you don't want to meet my wife for the first time really that she sat down with us. The second time. You haven't sat down with us. Misfits, Reptiles, and Aquatics, good to see you. Always good to see you. H-Town Tanker. Hello. Where's H-Town? Houston?
I don't know. Could be.
Where's H-Town?
Hollywood?
I need a dab. What's going on? Alan Tooth, JP, what's up? Drench Aquatics, and we're at the bottom. We're all caught up. Thank you so much. I see Houston. Yeah. Isn't that what I said? Mm-hmm. I'm smart. SMRT. I am so smart. SMRT. Oh yeah. Peeps Lost Sheep. They had some things that they restocked literally. They're gonna restock each day, so they are re-releasing some things, but there's people camped out at midnight for stuff. I had people texting me because they know I'm up all night, and people were texting me at like 3 a.m. saying, I got the whatevers, from the East Coast. They got it or before even midnight hit here, so that's fun. But yeah, let's see here. Anything else that we need to talk about in this community before we get going on this adventure? But in any case, my wife, she's helping out with me on the stream, and she's gonna read your question. Jeeps and things, what's going on? Are you Jason's brother? Welcome. I was trying to remember. I thought perhaps you were Jason Redfish Bluefish's brother. All right, yeah. So good friend of mine, Jason. I think Bentley Pasco's up there right now, but of course, Redfish Bluefish did a pressure sale where he's going to be doing that in the future again. But basically, oh hey, what's up, Chalupa? No tomatoes. Good to see you. Basically, he's doing discounts of whatever, 20%, 30%, 10%, I don't know what it'll be. It's going to be random, but he's going to do discounts on his fish during his live stream sometimes, just during the live stream. So I hope that went well for him. I hope some of you guys, I know some of you guys overlap, got some good stuff from him. We did the tour up there and everything. So, yeah. All right. So we're going to hand this over to my wife, who's got her, what do you got ready?
A glass of wine.
Okay, all right. So if you guys need to do the same, that's fine. We're going to officially make this a party. This is officially a party now. I have my Dr. Pepper. Wow.
Oh, you're not open yet.
Hold on. I don't even think the people can hear that. But have my vanilla Dr. Pepper, the banquet soda. It's what do they call it? It's the water. Yeah, Haley, what's going on? Oddball Aquatics. All right, so let's get into this thing. If you guys have questions or comments, say at Alex, but more poignantly, say at the secret history. I think that's enough that it'll flag. So yeah. Thanks for posting Redfish Bluefish Shop. He's a friend of mine, so I always like to encourage people to check him out. Definitely, for sure. So tonight we're going to talk about some mathematics in a broad sense, and we're going to talk a broad sense. So, we're going to talk about it, and I hope it's kind of fun. It could be a snooze fest, and if so, just say shut up. So we're gonna and we'll talk about whatever you guys want. But my wife will be handling the filming from here out. I don't know why you need to really see me, but she's gonna be a better filmer. And if you guys are bored with me, let her know, and then she'll just show you fish tanks, and I'll walk around and just talk while she films and fields questions. That sounds really fun, doesn't it, honey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's helpful
It's a
to
wild
me.
Saturday night.
Woo! Yeah, we don't even have firewood. We're in trouble. We'll have to stay warm another way.
Like wearing beanies in the house.
Like wearing beanies in the house. Actually, somebody said, "What is the deal with you wearing hats in the house? It's so rude." It's like, where do you live?
South.
Yeah, like Marfa? Come on. This is the Northwest. We keep our house 55 degrees and it rains indoors up here.
I do agree about that sentiment for eating dinner. Like, it's proper. Like, a lot of guys that wear the baseball caps should take that off while eating dinner.
Okay, I agree. Dinner, church, funerals, those things. Unless it's a really cool hat for the occasion. Drench, that is a deep one. Drench, that is a deep, deep inside joke that you brought back. The bonnet of nihilism. Yes, that is what I was wearing a while back when I just did not give an F the night we did a stream. Okay, I'm going to hand over control to the wife. She's in control now.
Okay.
I'm the captain now.
No.
Say a Somali accent. Come on.
What am I keeping it on you?
Well, you're going to flip it around here.
Okay.
And you're going to say hi to new people like Jan.
Hey, JN. Hey, Muppet. He's already been here.
Muppet's one of our
All right.
mods.
Give me 20 seconds to figure this out.
Wait. No. I'm going to go on the floor.
Oh, okay.
You're going to chill with your wine on the couch.
Okay.
All you need to do is flip this around
That's close up. Okay.
like that. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to talk.
There is a pretty sunset out there that you can't see.
This is not the Sunset Channel. All right. This is how we're going to learn together, guys. Crisscross applesauce. I'm the boss. All right. You like my notes for tonight? They look scary.
Alex should not stream when stoned, says David Rayner.
Maybe I should, because I'm not.
He's just stoned on the Dr. Pepper.
I'm stoned on life. Okay, so what is the golden ratio? What is the rule of thirds? What are all these mystical things? Well, I'm not going to bore you with too much of that because I already have videos on that. You can search my channel if you want an hour-and-a-half description of those things, how to apply them to aquascapes and things like that. What we're going to talk about are some natural patterns that occur in our aquariums, with our fish, with our plants, with our hardscape, even with like how nitrates accumulate in an aquarium, with how seeds are distributed in plants. We're going to talk about some of the ways and things and rules that have been observed by very intelligent individuals over the eons. We're talking all the way back to 8,000 BC. Some of these ratios were figured out. And up through the Greeks and up through India and the concept of zero 2,000 years ago. It's kind of interesting. Same time that Jesus was cruising around the planet, they came up with the notion of zero as a placeholder. The West didn't have the idea of zero until the 1400s. I mean, they tried it in the 1200s, 1300s, the 1400s. And every time the Catholic Church said, There cannot be nothing God would not leave a void. So they quickly changed their tune, and I wonder if it's a coincidence, but it's when the Arabs that introduced the Indian mathematics also introduced distillation and hard liquor to society. Well, the formulas and recipes required figuring things out using Arabic numerals and zeros. So that was one of the first things, was for beers, mead, and mashes that later they distilled. And it was monks usually who would do it as kind of a way to raise money for monasteries and things. They would do that, and it would really like help fund their religion. So it's kind of interesting. I'm not saying religion is bad. I'm just saying at that point in time, they thought you were a witch if you knew about the number 0 being a thing. So I want to give credit where credit is due to the fact that we're going to talk about Fibonacci. No, that's not what we're going to talk about. Fibonacci sequence or numbers. And we're going to talk about not really, I was just using this as something to write on. I do need to grab one more piece of paper, probably. Yeah. Oh, no, I still have enough room here. Okay, never mind. I planned. Okay. The plane. Okay, so what we're going to do first is a little game. So, I need you guys to just humor me, and what we're going to do is I'm going to need everybody, and just do it once so that my wife can go back through and count the numbers. She can read them off to me, okay? But I need you guys to give me a random number between -10 trillion and positive infinity, okay? And I need, like, you guys can give me, like, give me maybe...
We've got 11.
Okay, well, wait. So you guys can pick any number, 59, 11, 10, 120, 300, 400, anything up to...
Okay, they're coming in.
Up to 10 million. Okay, so my wife's going to read them off.
Okay.
And I'm going to write them down, and I'm going to show you some freaking magic.
Do you want to know who says what?
No, it's okay.
All right, we got 11. -477.
Okay.
420, twice.
Okay.
5,280.
Okay.
100.
Okay.
333.
Okay.
39.
Okay.
7.
Okay.
100,000.
What was it? 100,000?
100,000 and 7.
Okay.
Or wait, 1 million.
Okay, that's fine.
777.
I actually just need the first digit, but you guys keep coming up
47.
with numbers of all scopes and scales. Just do it for a while, and I'll tell you when we stop.
Okay, infinity -1.
Okay.
-2, 37, 31. Hey, Alec, I'm excited to chill and watch the stream.
That's not a number,
13,
wife.
750, 23. It's a good number. -700,434.
Okay.
1,111.
Okay.
44.
Okay.
7 plus 14 digits.
Okay.
714.
Okay.
3.
Okay.
59.
Okay.
38. I'm not going to read that one. 38596050.
Well, actually, so what I'm doing is I'm really just stealing this first digit of your numbers. So let's get a few more, and then we'll end this shenanigans, and I'll show you what we're doing.
9.
2, 9.
I think that's it.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm gonna make up a couple more just for the heck of it. Let's do 89.
2020.
2020. Okay.
67.
67. And 43. Okay. All right. So these are the numbers. There won't be any tomfoolery. That's the first digit of all the numbers you guys mentioned. Now I'm going to show you a weird phenomena. And this works with big numbers, but I'm looking at our numbers and I think we'll see the same trend. So let's graph it out real quick. Okay.
He's graphing.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, Craig. Yes, my name's Laura. No, there's a 23. Somebody's upset. There's no 23.
Well, there's a 23 now. Okay.
If this ends with Kevin Bacon, he's gonna lose it, or she's gonna use it.
Okay. All right. So we've got the number that starts with a 1. We've got one of those. Then we've a 4. Then we've got another 4. Then we've got a 5. Then we've got another 1. Then we've got a 3, a 3, a 7, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 7, a 3, a 1, a 1, a 1, a 7, a 2. You guys like certain numbers quite a bit. 3, 7 again. You guys like 7. Lucky number 7. We've talked about 7 in a recent video, though. Where was I?
Carry the 7.
2. Okay, 2. And then 7.
What's the biggest thing called in the golden ratio? Is a question from JN.
The biggest thing?
Mm-hmm.
The biggest ratio or set? Well, I'll explain. I'll explain what the that could be a couple things. So we'll get into that. We will. Okay.
Hey, Joe Black asks, how does it feel to live with a genius?
Wah, wah.
I plead the 5th.
Yeah, keep them entertained, honey. 6.
Hey, Hat Trick Farm, new
Joey.
Joey.
The lovely Joey.
Peplin Creek Aquatics wants to know if they are being tested for ADD.
Yes. Finally, okay. Very interesting. 4 and 2. All right. So, this is what we get. You guys provided these numbers. I didn't do this. Look at the ones that start with a 1. When you graph this out, any random number set of large numbers, you'll find that there are a ton of the first digit starting with 1. The most common is 2. The next most common is 3, 4, and on all the way to 9. I guess 0 can be included in some data sets, but doesn't matter. It's true with real and non-real numbers. Now, this is a weird phenomena, right? But it's one of the natural ways that numbers behave. And I could have told you that because I have the law. The natural law is right here. And it's called Benford's law. And we actually use this law, we use this law to actually figure out when people have scammed corporations of money. So we use this law in any data set for a given company that's dealing with maybe their expenditures. We know statistically that there should be the most 1s. And people don't follow this law, and it's the first layer of scanning on all forensic accounting software these days. So what does this have to do with fish, Alex? Okay. Well,
Mind blown, he says. We've got some comments.
Okay.
Can we take Alex to the casino?
Yes. You know what? I wish we had like a computer graphics specialist. We could just have numbers and like equations flying around.
Oh, we got a $5 donation from Alan Bauer.
Alan!
Numbers are a myth, he says.
I agree. They are a man-made construct to hold places. But thank you so much, Alan. It's
Thanks,
been
Alan.
good. I hope your fish room is coming together, brother. You know, he moved and he's been a big supporter of this channel for a long time. So, this Benford's law, it basically says, and here's the equation if you really want it. I'll post this for channel members later. It's log 10, and then in parentheses, x plus 1, and then multiplied by log 10 to the x power. But it basically forms this. But where do we also see this phenomena? Well, we see this phenomena in when we figure out how many babies fish have. So if you count from fish that just have one baby at a time, or humans who usually have one baby at a time, 1 is the most common number. You put it on a graph, 9 uncommon. Now this is partially because of we use a power 10 system of numbers, and we're not going to get into all that. And if you're a mathematic person saying, oh, but then this isn't for you, we can talk in depth later and go toe to toe on that. But I don't want to bring it there for everyone else because it's boring to write equations. But this thought was brought up in the 1930s, and this is just one of dozens of natural rules that we find when we apply them to data sets. So scientists go out and they measure, say, the diameter of trees. We'll see these same patterns. And so this is an interesting way to do it if you have a bunch of plants in your aquarium and you want to make it look natural. I talked about this in my most recent video, which was biomass ratios. So the way this also occurs is in another rule, the rule of frequency equivalency ratios. There's several names for it, but it's an old Arabic law, or what's the word? They noticed that this was the case. And it is that in a given biome or area, so say you take 1 square mile of a place, usually, and these are all big picture averages that we can extrapolate down into our aquarium. If you feel like, I just don't know how many fish to add, things like that, this tells you what nature does itself. It's not a magical, mystical number that, I mean, some people would say, oh, this is because, some creator planned this, or aliens, or I don't know, gnomes, whatever it is. These are just ways that we have explained patterns we see in the physical world. There's a million other laws we could make up that don't make any sense. These are some that I just think are kind of cool, kind of helpful. They relate to history, and we can tie them back into the aquarium. And this is starting with a kind of an obscure one, but we're going to get into Fibonacci soon. And Zipfs law, which is another really interesting one. So Zipfs law is what I was getting into on that frequency law for Arabic back in the day. They've known this a long time. The equation, if you want to know the equation, it's this one right here. P n over what is it? P to the n is directly proportional to 1 divided by n over a. And what's a? Okay, so this law, let me take a step back, trying to make this easier to understand, because it's kind of mind-blowing too. So Zipfs law, Zipf, Z-I-P-F-S, his name was George Kingsley Zipf, and he was an American mathematician in the 1930s. He was studying Moby Dick. He was also a linguist. He was first and foremost a linguist at the time. And he took every word in the long and boring, it's interesting. It's about the water in the ocean. About Moby Dick. He took every word and he cut them out, and then he put them in piles by frequency. So the, and, whale, house, hunting, capsize, Ishmael, whatever, all of the things. He cut out the entire book, like something like 120,000 words or something crazy. And then he put them in order of most common. Well, he noticed that it made a graph like this that went down. It was exponential, not fully exponential, not fully linear, but it was a curve, and it went down a third each level. But in the English language, so he thought, okay, this is true with Moby Dick. Maybe it's a work of art that if you're looking for the letter the, or the word the, in a given paper even, this works oftentimes. But the bigger the volume, the more this becomes true, and the closer these lines fit these rules, which is just called the rule of large numbers. But basically, the occurred 7% of all the words in that book are the. The next most common is the word of. and 3.5% of the entire book's words were of. The next most common was to, and then this continues, blah, 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 blah. Number 7th most common was for. So what else can we look at this? He said this is very odd. You know, it goes down literally word by word that it is, the second word is 1/2 as common as the first word. The third most common word is a third the ratio of, happens as third the ratio. The fourth, a fourth, and the seventh, a seventh, all the way down the line until you get to the words that are only used once. And the vast majority of words we use are only used once if you look at our total vocabulary. So they have looked at this, and First Linguistics said, you know what? It's true with all books. They had a team at Harvard put together, start doing this with other books. The curve was identical. The words were identical. And they thought, wow, that's a cool trick with the English language. Well, then they tried it in Hebrew because of the Bible. Then Aramaic. Then Greek. It held true for all of those. So then they said, okay, well, that's true, but let's go with like Chinese or Maasai that have like the African bush people who've had words assigned to their language by Westerners. They didn't have a written language originally. Well, guess what? Every single language out of 3,900 that are still around today, it follows that pattern and that rule to a T. So this is Zipfs' law. What does this have to do with anything else? Well, if you look at the populations of countries, the vast majority of countries in the world have a population that's very similar. It's within a certain window. Then the next chunk is within another window. This is the same with the richest people in the country. This is the same when you take a square mile of land, you look at it and you say, okay, what's the most common tree? It's alders? Okay. What's the second most common tree? It's birch? Okay. And then poplar? Okay. So poplars being the third most common tree, you can predict that there are going to be 1/3 as many poplars, because they were the third most common, as there are alders, which were the first most common. Go all the way down. Maybe there's only one Oregon grapeberry shrub on this land. I'm thinking locally to me. Well, that might be the 200th. So the biomass of Oregon grapes on the land is going to be 1/280th that of the alder if you were to chop it all up and weigh it. These are natural rules which we have found that fit for most systems in nature. And I just think that those are really cool. So this is called Zipfs' law. The other one was called Benford's law. We had a law of large numbers. We had another law that I'm going to talk to you about right now, just because you may be thinking, I've heard some of this before, and it's like that movie, The Number 23, where you start thinking about, okay, what is the most common, or what, The Number 23, that movie, I started seeing 23 everywhere. It's just like when someone tells you, do not think of pink elephants. Well, now you're going to think about not thinking about pink elephants, which makes you think about pink elephants. And this effect is called the Baader-Meinhof effect. And it's, or phenomena, the Baader-Meinhof phenomena. And it got its name not because anybody's named Baader-Meinhof that discovered it, but there was an extremist communist group that was trying to blow up buildings and kill civilians in West Germany in the 60s and 70s, 1960s and 70s. And they had the name Baader-Meinhof. Well, they got disbanded, they got crushed by America, which was great because they were bad people, whatever. So later, when the internet came along, a mathematician was browsing the web on AOL in 1994, and he had learned about Baader-Meinhof, this extremist group. And all of a sudden, he saw 15 articles for Baader-Meinhof in the next year, and it just stuck out like a sore thumb. Why is this obscure German thing I've never heard of before coming up all the time? Well, it's because the human brain starts a feedback loop once we learn something. So now that you know these things, you won't be able to ignore them. I have created a meme, and it's in your brains, and you will apply it to your aquarium. You will find more meaning in your aquarium based on these things, and you will get back to me, I hope. So that is kind of where we're going with this. We'll get more specific into our fish, our aquariums, as we're getting deeper into this right now. So, honey, do we have any comments or questions, that are are springing up from whence thou came?
Nothing in pertaining, I don't think, to what you're talking about.
And how many people are watching? Is it down to like 10?
We have 70 people on here.
Okay.
What?
All right. So we haven't lost everyone yet. So let's keep going before that.
There's a fish question. If you want to
okay.
that.
What's the fish question?
Steel Angus asks, anyone know how to fix swim bladder disease in a catfish?
Swim bladder disease, water quality is always a thing that it could be. So I always try to improve that. Now, catfish also tend to eat on the bottom. They literally eat poo. I mean, they're not trying to eat poo, but they rut through it and it goes into their mouth. They get more bacteria load because they're going through the biomass at the bottom of the tank. Now, because of that, they get bacterial and parasitic infections in their gut. Oftentimes, this causes an impaction in their intestines. And catfish generally, especially plecos and things, have a spiral gut. It's the golden ratio. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Just saying. If you look at, actually, come here. I need the camera. All right. The catfish is probably gonna move. But you guys have probably noticed this about plecos if you keep plecos. Well, we can't really see it, but there is a spiral with its rings that start here, and it goes like that, and then she poops. Let's see if it's more evident on one of the babies that's showing here. But it's not random why we find this all over. And it's not the Bader-Meinhof principle of why we find this all over. It is because it is the most efficient way for these systems to have developed. Okay, back to the story. It didn't work. The pleco, it wasn't... The pleco is not full of food right now.
Chevy Fish says tadpoles have that spiral too.
Yeah, so a lot of you guys know if you've kept plecos, like bristlenose plecos especially, they have a little cinnamon swirl bun as their belly, as their intestines. When they're little, you can really see it. Back to swim bladder though, it could be an obstruction. So I always I cook some peas, I chuck the green peas, I feed them those little pieces of pea seed in the center, and I mash that up with garlic into a little paste. Sometimes you can add, fish like garlic, but you can add shrimp or, some other thing that that fish likes, bloodworms. Be careful, bloodworms some people are allergic to. So just chop it up finely though into a little slurry, into little balls if you can, wear gloves if you have to. But then they'll eat that, and those peas, you can't make it too high in protein, like it's gotta be less than 40 or 50% protein. You really want that pea to be the biggest thing because that pea is gonna help clean them out. It's like, I don't know, cranberry juice or fiber for their gut. And that oftentimes will undo it, especially in goldfish and things. But catfish, it could also, if that doesn't work within 2 days, always tannins are a good thing for a catfish. Always, that's going to help their slime coat, basically. You want to watch the pH so you don't tank it on them too badly. But that will help. A salt bath isn't usually going to hurt. That'll probably rejuvenate their slime coat a little bit. If it's an armored catfish, they don't have as much of a slime coat, so maybe look into that. But I would say after 2 days, if the pea thing didn't work or if they're getting worse, you want to treat it with the antibiotic like erythromycin, or if that doesn't work, you can also use Furin 2 or Metroplex. One's a gram negative, one's a gram positive, and erythromycin, the gram positive antibacterial or antibiotic, is more common. So usually you treat with that first and then go to the bigger guns. But if an animal is like dire sick and you think they're going to die anyways, you can give them both at the same time. I usually kind of cut the dosages in half of each and then just use them at the same time. And then also if you have Pancure or Paragard or anything like that, it could be that, but that's probably gonna, if you did all that at once, it would stress the fish out too much. So it's kind of a checklist going down the line of most common things. So I hope that helps.
So we just had Chubbs Aquatic join. Hey.
Hey,
and
Chubbs.
then, I think, is it Angelica Velo?
Yeah.
She just ordered a pink shirt that has a Cory on it because she's a Cory nerd. Yay!
Right on. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So Chubbs is in the chat?
He's there.
All right. Awesome. Good to see you, John. All right. And I hope things are looking up, brother. Okay, so let's hop on to the next topic. We're getting more fish related as we go. I just kind of wanted to weed out those non-believers of you who didn't believe in where I was going with this madness. Okay, so, honey.
Yes.
Let's take a look at this paper again.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about Fibonacci. So, Fibonacci, he was a man who lived in a pineapple under the sea. No, that's not where he lived. He lived in Pisa with the tower that leans, the crappy tower. Back then it was probably a great tower. I don't know. But he noticed something that Indians noticed 1,000 years earlier, but Fibonacci sequence. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55. And it goes on and on. So what's going on here? Why are these numbers special? Well, actually it goes 0 first, technically. So you can add up any two numbers, and they're going to give you the next one. So 0 plus 1, 1. 1 plus 1, 2. 2 plus 3, 5. 13 plus 21, 34. And this goes on for infinity. And that might seem like, okay, what's your point? Why does that matter? Well, when we look at something like plants, we also notice that all plants arrange their seeds in one of these numbers. Going up to, I mean, it goes higher, obviously, but they're generally somewhere in here. Also, all plants have leaf pairings. Either they have leaves like this, or they have leaves like this, or they have 5, or they have 8, you know, going on. Or it's like a lily that has one spiral leaf, you know, like a tiger lily but it also has 3 lobes on that. Any case, why do they do this? Well, flowers and plants, flowers, their whole point, and this is true with aquatic plants too, and that's why we're talking about it, their whole point is to deliver seeds. Now, the way a flower is set up is a structure to deliver seeds and also to get pollinated. So it needs a central point. So it's always going to have a central point, and then it needs to figure out how to best pack in seeds, right? Well, if we follow this pattern, it will tell you the most efficient number of seeds you can pack into an area. And this, for instance, look at the number of seeds in a banana. There's 3 rows of the seeds that run down the banana. In an apple, there's 5 sets of seeds if you look at a cross section down the apple. If you look at a pine cone, there are usually, on small pine cones, there are 55 pine cone things, and then the next ring will be 34, then 21, 13, 8, 5, 3, 2, and then the one little point. It's weird. We see these patterns going on, and if we look at these patterns and we take this number and divide it by the number before, we get a ratio of 1.618034. This is known as the golden ratio. Now, why is the golden ratio special in history? Well, basically, if we look at the golden ratio, we identify it here with this little symbol. This is the phi symbol, P-H-I. Sounds like pi, but with an F, fox, phi. And it looks like a 0 with the letter capital I overlaid over it. Well, if you measure how tall your face is divided by how wide your face is, you'll get this number or close to it. And when they have asked people to rate the most attractive people, so supermodels and folks like that, they end up usually saying the people with the closer this is specifically to that number, saying they're not gruesomely disfigured in some way. Did you know chat's been going this whole time? Okay. All right.
You want me to?
Well,
They've been chatting with each other.
I know, but
Okay.
you just got to keep an eye on it because it'll blow past without. Okay.
We did have a question. If you want a
Well,
question.
let me do one more. So, in Greek days, they knew about this. They didn't know about these numbers, but they knew about this ratio. The Parthenon, the Pantheon, they're both done, or Parthenon and the where did we go?
The Parthenon.
Parthenon and the. No, we didn't go to the Parthenon. We went to in Rome.
Colosseum.
No, the indoor building with the Oculus in the center.
Oh yeah. I can't remember.
Okay, well, in any case, they use this in architecture a ton, the Greeks. And United States, France, London, Germany, or the Brits, I don't know why I said London, they based a lot of our current culture, starting in the Enlightenment.
Pantheon.
Pantheon,
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry, I appreciate that. Pantheon is a group of gods. But in any case, they all use ratios from this. Now, this is a spiral when you look at it. Are you okay? So this is a spiral when you look at it. And this is 1, 1. This is 2 square boxes. This is 3 square boxes, 5. So we're following these numbers here. 8, and then you can build it out and around, but it builds this spiral, and that's why it gets the name the golden spiral. And measuring the distance from this point to this point, or from the inside point to the outside point here, you get those ratios of how we measure things. Michelangelo's or Botticelli's Venus, all these famous paintings and sculptures use these proportions as the perfect human proportions. Or people who are fit and in shape and rated as attractive in many cultures share a lot of these things. So what
Jeeps and Things said bye. Catch you all on the next one. He had to go. Thanks. So we had one question that was not
okay, you can point it at me.
relating to this. Where'd it go?
People don't want to just stare at math.
JN asked, is 68 degrees too cold for autosynclus Hurani?
No. That's right on the verge of their cold spot. I mean, they're probably not going to spawn for you that cold, but they will exist that cold. Okay, so now I want to take you on a journey. This journey is remembering that ratio. What did I just knock over? Okay. Angelfish. We love angelfish, right? Well, the distance between their eye and their nose, or their eye and their gill plate, that's 1. Then the distance between from here, where the gill plate ends on their bottom, to the top, that's going to be the same as that 5 ratio. Then from here to the back is going to be the same total, but from their gill plate to where their tail starts, that's going to give you that 8 square of that spiral. So there are 6 symmetries on this fish that can be explained with measurements from the golden ratio or the golden spiral. This is something that was known about many fish, including goldfish and a lot of tetras. When they were first discovered in the 1800s and things, they noticed that the distance between the eye and the gill plate, or the eye and the tip of the snout, and then from that gill plate, or sometimes it's measured from the ventral fins, or sorry, the pectoral fins back to the tail. It's also going to be that same ratio, and when you divide it, you get 1.6. Okay, you get the same thing of this 1.618034. Now, there's lots of videos that also discuss why this is appealing to the test. It could be the Bader-Meinhof phenomena, that we have all been obsessed with thinking about this silly idea for so long that now we see it everywhere. But the rule of thirds is another newer rule, but that is how we look at cameras, and setting a picture is by drawing on picture. When you want to set your aquascape either from above or front on, you can use the spiral or you can use the rule of thirds. We split everything in 3 pieces, and basically it says that if you take a picture of 2 mountains and 3 mountains, there's one in the middle here that's forward and the sun shines here or something. Well, you wouldn't want to take this picture so that it's off like this, or maybe you would. I mean, there's some intentional ways people play with this, but that's not balanced. There's this negative space here and here. You want to make this picture centered like this on this. And we don't even realize, because it's so ingrained to us, it seems like, what else would you be doing when you take a picture? Of course you're going to focus on the sun or a thing. Well, it's not that way. In some cultures, they don't think that. When we have given cameras and easels and things to tribal cultures, when anthropologists, my wife and I are both anthropology majors, degrees in anthropology, they don't think about that. They don't have that concept in their head. Yet, when we have them draw, or we look at cave art all the way back to Neanderthals and things, we see the same things. So remember what I said about those numbers. Check out this leaf. Every layer, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay? 2, 2, 2, 2. Right here, the Mayaka, it has 1 on each level. It doesn't actually share levels. And it slightly rotates. If you count the number of fronds on this one, you get 13. Rosettes on a sword plant, you're going to get one of those ratios. Now, beyond that, scales on a fish, they pack in those numbers. Why do they pack in nature? Why do these numbers keep coming up? Why is a pine cone or a sunflower or the Milky Way galaxy or an avocado, an artichoke, whatever you want to look at, why do these things keep coming up where they have this symmetry that looks like that spiral? Well, it's because it is a natural law. It is a natural description of things. Now, not everything has that description, but it turns out that that is the most perfect way to pack in shingles or scales or seeds within a space, giving them each the most room possible. That ratio, or divisions thereof, powers and exponents raised of that, square roots of that, all can tell you these things. And so it's a really interesting concept to me to think of all the things in our life that we think are beautiful. Just make an inventory some, and then think about it and think if any of this applies to it. Also, keep learning. There are so many rules out there for how numbers work. A lot of them are really obscure, or they only apply to actual calculations and things. But this particular rule applies to nature in general in a very visual way that we can see. And to me, it's just very mind-blowing to me, honestly. I don't need to tell you guys anything more on it, honestly. That is kind of the hour rundown of this. Somebody says, I learned this from a marijuana grower. Yes, and then Fish Stream says, I will be counting leaves now. Yep. Well, the same thing. Look for ratios, proportions. Try adding up the total length of a fish and measure from its back gill plate to where its caudal fin starts. Or measure the caudal fin too, whatever it may be. It might be from the nose tip to the plate and then the whole length with the tail and all, rather than just the other part. Because the part was of the body is one way to do it. The other way is to do from the nose to the gill plate and then all the way the whole fish. And some of the most popular fish in the hobby, this tetra shape that we all recognize. These guys who are just kind of, they've kind of got that tetra shape. I don't know what to call it, a football shape with the little tail and the spiky protrusions. That is a tried and true method of making a fish efficient. And when we look at plants, they use these same things. When we look at this, one, we've got 5 on this myriophyllum, 5 nodes on everything. This one here has 8. So this kind of breaks some of the rules of always using odd numbers. So it's saying that 8 is an odd number that works okay, whereas earlier in the video I said, when you're aquascaping, try to use odd numbers. Well, going back to the biomass thing, if we look at an Iwagumi aquascape, where you've got 5 stones. You have one stone that's the biggest. It's the keystone, the arch stone, power stone, whatever you want to call it. And it is going to take up a third of all the stone in the tank, just because it's so massive. Then there's going to be a secondary stone that's almost as big as it, but not quite. So that's going to be, that's going to take up, that will be 1/2 of what the other one was by volume. Because if you look at a cylinder, usually these are tall cylindrical stones in Iwagumi scapes, you lose mass very quickly. Then next, thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. And hello, Atkins Nature, indoor fishing inside. Good to see you guys. And then the next thing is going to be that there's going to be 3 other stones that are all roughly the same size. They're all just smaller stones. So there's that number 3 again. And there is that 3. The ratio is going to be that all those stones together only equal 1/3 the mass of that big stone. And so even though the Japanese mathematicians didn't know anything about this, the artists didn't know anything about this, it fits the rules of feng shui, of a lot of wabi-kusa gardening, of bonsai tree methodologies, and of Iwagumi aquascaping or water garden planning. So we are used to seeing these ratios. We don't know that they're a ratio. Math is not the language we inherently speak in our heads. And I don't speak in math, but I do speak a little bit in geometry. I can kind of eyeball things and go, okay, this is that length and this is 1/3 of it. Maybe that's why I like that fish, It's 1/3 as tall as it is long. Yeah, it's a good looking fish. It's balanced. Versus, why is the butterfly upside down butterfly fish, or an upside down catfish, or a grouper? Why do those fish look ugly or weird or a moray eel? Now, that's not, everyone's not going to think that, but these are the things that we kind of agree on, and they're kind of little mind hacks and culture hacks that we can implement. And I'm going to leave it up to you guys. You're not idiots. You guys are all smart on how you can implement these rules. Remember what I said. This aquascape is all jacked up right now. So this isn't a good example, honestly. But if you add it up in your aquarium, your biomass, pick a carpeting plant. Make that carpeting plant, say, half of your entire tank's flora. Then the next most common thing is going to be half of what that was. The next most common thing, make it a third of that. And if you look at professional aquascapes, this is exactly what many of them do that win every year at the ADA meetings. Now, sometimes they'll play with it a little bit because they've mastered that ratio, and they'll throw it off in some big way after following it for 4 or 5 different issues. But even our aquariums tend to be, you wonder why they're the sizes they are? Well, some of it has to do with shipping. Some of it has to do with maximizing surface area and volume. That's why we have like a cube, for instance. Like why we have a lot of cubes in shipping, we've got a lot of rectangles of 2 different ratio sizes. Even though they come in different inches, height, width, depth, they're very similar in ratio oftentimes. You'll get the flat rate boxes and things. All of these were figured out by figuring out the most common ratios on a frequency graph like that. And then that's where they did the increments. Now, they can also figure out with another law how much you can change something before someone gets annoyed, before someone notices. And I can't remember of the name of that law off the top of my head, but it's what candy manufacturers, it's what Fluval or anybody else who sells, you know, like a weighted product, they know how much you can put in one hand and feel, okay, that feels like X amount. Then you pick it up, that feels about the same. They know that difference in change. And the heavier something is, the harder it is for us to tell. The more expensive a price tag is, the easier it is to raise that price tag even more and have the buyer not realize that there was an increase in price. So, that is what I think is really interesting. Just these things that we do, that our hobby does. It's things like that that you need to pay attention to the fluid ounces on something, you know, or how much fish food is really in a container that you can't see through. You know, over the years, the amount goes down and down and down. Like, what kind of weight is that? 0.63 ounces, 18 grams? That is a bizarre amount, and it doesn't fill up the whole container. What gives? Here's a full one. I just opened this one. That's how much is in there. Why? Well, they probably figured out exactly, you know, well, it's a cylinder, and that's going to be the most effective shape in a square for volume, just like a sphere would be. But you know, they know that and they change it. So that's where we get, I mean, that between that and then also transferring to the metric system from our imperial system, that's how we get these weird numbers and things like 262 grams, 9.2 ounces. Those are weird numbers, but they keep coming up. If you were to plot them out on a distribution graph, guess what? Container sizes at the grocery store, they fall in line with the Benson's number curve that we talked about. So I don't know. I found all this kind of stuff fascinating, guys. And we're done with math now. Now it's time to just relax, ask some questions if you have them. We can talk about whatever. I know that we have like literally a third of the normal people watching. So I think I pushed it too far into nerd territory, and I also probably just failed at explaining it. Because I'm not a mathematician. I am but a peasant fish keeper. But I saw a super chat come in, and I must acknowledge this super chat. Miss Kitty, hello, thank you so much. $4.99 super chat. Beautiful home. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We're trying to get rid of this beautiful home and get one that's bigger. More money. I don't know if there's a law for that, but it seems like the Seattle law of house hunting at this point. Okay, No, Alex, Fish Room Fever is also streaming. Oh, it isn't. Oh, gotcha. Oh, it's because, I used to stream at 3 o'clock, then Father Fish started going every day. And so now I've been going at this time. I love Fish Room Fever and what James does. And so I'd like to work with him. We'll have to figure out a new time. Because I keep moving around based on these other channels and I don't want to overlap, but it's getting hard. There's so many channels now, which can be a good thing. I mean, the good channels will keep getting better as long as the people aren't disheartened, and the bad channels will disappear just as they always have. So we don't need to worry about that. But uh, thank you. And also, I wanted to give an extremely big special thanks to Isabel. Thank you so much. She donated a $100 gift card to spend at Aquatic Arts with the sale going. That's how I spent 250. I spent 150 of my own and another 100 from her. But she said, get whatever you want, get something cool, get something interesting. And I, of course, want to share it with you. Now, I thought, do I want to pay that forward and just give it to a viewer? And I had to be selfish, honestly. I said, you know what? I don't have that much money right now. I'd rather make more content and do species profiles on that the whiptail lizard cat, the cobalt blue Stiphodon, the new Japanese gold endlers that they finally are selling the females with, which I want to hybridize with my rainbow sherbet endlers, the tiger ones. So all that stuff's gone on today, and I'm very, very grateful. Thank you so much. Especially because, you get paid for your super chats, um, obviously, but you only get it once a month. They take 30% of it, and then they give it to you. Then you've got 38% that is due in taxes, technically. And then you've got your final total. So, not that I'm complaining about getting that. I mean, it's still great. We love it. But it's just a shame that Google and then the government gets such a big cut of what you guys are hoping is going to creators. And then that we only get it once a month. So it's hard. It's hard. I can't pull out that money and say, well, I think this month was pretty good. Let me give it to, a good cause. Like a lot of people have needed a little hand this month. Won't name names. We had somebody with a fire in their fish room. We had someone with a big 180-gallon crack, and they lost all their fish. And I just felt bad. Sent them get some new fish. And then we had somebody with liver cancer that's getting a liver transplant. Then we had uh, a theft that happened, and just life stuff, but in any case, and then good things, gifts for people that I'm happy to do. I also, thank you, Isabel. She said I give you the gift card because I prefer to give it directly to you rather than YouTube. But I also would feel guilty to spend that money without sharing it with all of you who made this possible. So I will obviously do an unboxing. I will obviously be hounding them for more discount codes because we're going to get all the post Black Friday or Cyber Monday cleanup stuff from Aquatic Arts. Like any of the, they brought in 100 of some beta styles or strains. And so I said, you know what? Let's hit that up. Let's see what's left. And they said, yeah, we'll definitely hook you guys up with some codes for what's left for just your channel. So you guys can use the codes. There's also codes posted to aquaticarts.com if you guys like them. It's the same percentage as the ones posted in the description below today. But the thing is, the more they see coming from this channel, the more likely they are to give us free stuff and almost $2,000 in giveaways on the holiday season when we did it in December. So that was really cool. Now, it's a little different. Their business has been good, but they're expanding, so they have a lot of capital tied up right now too. So I don't know. I can't promise anything. They've got some different managers of things going too. So there's that. So it's so good to see you guys, you folks in here. I hope people like that. And again, thank you, Isabel. Thank you, Super Chatters. Jesse, what's going on, man? How's it going? Um, Also, I switched out my tank downstairs so that I can finally do the low pH breeding, where I'm not going to filter, I'm not going to cycle any of the filters. The pH is going to be like 4. It's going to be like an ounce of alder cones and a whole bunch of catappa leaves and oak leaves and acorn caps. I don't even know. Lots of stuff like that. And it's going to drop the pH way down. And then I'll put the neon blue tetras in there with the long veil tail fins. And we'll be trying to spawn those. And I've got the marbles in there already. I cleaned out all the other fish that were in there. In my random fish hatching of 4 days, it looks like we got ember tetras. So it looks like some baby ember tetras were in the moss that I pulled out of that tank the other day in my how to breed, hard to breed, rare nano fish. In my random lottery of what am I going to breed today? Pat and Jess Cole says, great stream, Alex. I really enjoyed it. Was busy working on my record, but I listened to it all. Do you know how big those black cories get that redfish, bluefish has? Yeah, just Aeneas cories. So when he said they're really big last night, he meant that they are full grown. They're 1.5 to 2 inches and wide. They're filled out with some fat, but they're not going to be any bigger than say Corridorus julii or sturbi or trilineatus or any of those. They're going to be about the same. In fact, here is the same exact species. These guys right here. These are the orange ones that Aquatic Arts sells. And then here are the pepper cories. They're all about the same size. Actually, these pepper cories are a dwarf strain from humans, but all the natural variations of them, if I can find more of them, they're all going to be about the same size. Not these Sabrosis, they're little teenies guys. But yeah, they're going to be about the same size as these guys right here. Those orange ones. No one wants to play with the camera tonight, you jerks. Okay, so let's see here. I don't like splitting the group from James. What time did James go live? Does anybody know? Did he just go live or is he just finishing? Because I don't want to. I feel bad. I don't know. Whatever. I'd rather come on and chat with some of you guys later tonight in a chat room and just one-on-one or whatever. 4:30 Pacific. 4:30 Pacific, but I mean, that's when he went on? Or that's when he's done? What time is it? Hold on. Okay, so it's 5:30. Okay. Okay, 7:30. Okay, so it's 5:30 my time. I should have clarified that. What time did he go on if it's 5:30 now my time? Did he go on an hour ago or did he go on He's east or central? I can't remember. He's in Kentucky, right? Or Tennessee? An hour ago. Okay, well maybe we'll hang tight for a little bit and see if folks come in. I guess I already ruined his stream. I'll have to apologize. I didn't know that he went at this time. That's something to figure out in the future, though. Definitely. Definitely. Because him and also Chattanooga Ed, I really respect their effort and what they're doing on YouTube and in the hobby and the giveaways and all that stuff in our fish collective. I've actually chatted with a couple folks about our fish collective being a part of that. But let me just say one more thing about how the fish in here, if we were to, in fact, I did follow. There you are. There you came out. So these are the same as the black cories. It's just they extended that dark melon here. They got rid of that. But they're actually the same. So Corridor Aeneas, Emerald Corridoras, Bronze Corridoras, Red Banded Corridoras or Red-Sided Corridoras, Purple Laser, Green Laser, Orange Laser, and the black and the Venezuelan orange. They're all Aeneas. So, yeah. I wonder if the inventor of math ever imagined it could be used by nature herself? Robert Dempsey. I don't know. That's interesting. What are the best way? What ways are best to contact you to talk? The best way is, I mean, if you just leave a comment, it's fine. But my email, alexanderjwilliamson@gmail.com, is a good way. Sometimes stuff gets put into the spam folder. That's no spaces or anything. These Corys are really high up in the water tonight. They're begging for food. They're up in here a lot. But yeah, so that's probably the easiest way. Alexander J. Williamson at gmail.com. No spaces or anything. J as in jet as the middle initial. And Lee Wilcox, hello. You missed all the math. All the math. Us math heads were doing math and mathy things. You can go back and watch it if you want. But I'm glad that you're here now, Lee. Welcome. And also a reminder, guys, the home show. I would love for you guys to share with me your home on my show. So next Tuesday, Mary Page Flynn is going to be hosting the home show with me. And so she'll help me, keep track of chat so that I can look and stuff. George, what's going on, buddy? Aquaballs, good to see you. Where's your wrench? Yes, you know what? I'm going to fix that now because I can. My wife was filming, and so we set this thing up to stream on so many levels. It was on so many levels. So let's fix this little wrench problem that's been going on. Also, people like Mary and I are good friends in real life, in the real world, and we talk all the time on the phone, but it literally bumped her out of even being my subscriber whatsoever. Which was just crazy to me. And it also got rid of a bunch of my mods, and then some popped back later, but I mean, come on, it's just annoying. Also, I'm gonna make Isabel a moderator. And then I think we have things pretty well covered. Unless anybody else wants to be a mod that I'm missing. But I think we've got a good amount of mods. I mean, on this channel, we don't have to deal with a whole lot of hooey or nonsense. And Muppet always gets it before it's out of control, or, Fish Dreams, or, certain people. They know what's up. Oh, yeah, Mridjul. Okay, good. I got you a wrench, right? Do you see your wrench, Mridjul? I wanted you to have one also. And also, I want Pete to have one. Pete Berlinski. I want to have one. All right. So now y'all can post links. You can ban people. You can totally abuse your power. I'm not like Father Fish. I don't give wrenches to everyone. So you guys are special. You're special. Lee, you're special. Lee Wilcox, you're special. Also, yes, Drench, we don't have too many troublemakers in this stream generally. I think we're here to learn. We're here to be sincere. We're here to support each other. We're here to shave our beards. Man, it's bugging me. The food's getting in it. It's just not a pretty picture anymore. It's not manly. It's not manly when you're sucking ice cream out of your mustache or wiping it carefully. I mean, yeah. So, in any case, do we have any more questions going on right now? Yeah, except for me. I like to go into Father Fish's chat and give him hell, because him and I don't see eye to eye on certain things, but of course I care about him, and I respect his views in the hobby and his experience, but I like to give him hell sometimes in the chat, because it's fun. Respectfully, hopefully. He knows I'm playing. I've already asked him. Yeah, ask away, Brenda, and welcome. Do worms have eyes? That's a great question. So night crawlers and worms that we think of like, terrestrial worms, earthworms, they do. They have photosensitive sensors with a gradient. So they see kind of like a black and white. However, nematodes and Walther worms or white worms that we call, that are nematodes or planaria or detritus worms, things like that, they don't. They have photoreceptive cells that actually detect light. And a lot of times they'll be on their head or whatnot. But their eyes have evolved 3 times in animals, at least, that we know of, that are still alive today, that is. In us, we have a blind spot because light has to come in and our eye is shaped like a circle with a little hole in it, and there's nothing where the hole is. So we have a blind spot, the angle of where that hole is. And that's why we have 2 eyes facing forward, so they cross over and they take care of the blind spot. But if you cover one eye and you try to look at 2 things, there'll be one point where you're looking at the one thing and the other thing goes out of view. That's going to be the radius of your iris, or your pupil, where your iris starts. And it depends on how constricted it is. But other fish and animals have evolved other eyeballs. Cats and a lot of mammalian predators actually have, and I'm forgetting the name of the reflective membrane on their eye. Hold on. Reflective cat eye. Oh, Tapetum lacidum. Tapetia lacidum is what it's called. And that's why cats, other animals even, like deer, nocturnal animals and predators have it usually. But their eyes glow when you shine light on them. And they've got photoreceptive cells in their eye that shine straight back out. So that's a little different structure. And then if you look at octopus, cuttlefish, and squid, they have the most complex eye in the natural world. Birds have a pretty complex one, just in that they can see, between all birds, they can see infrared, ultraviolet, and all visible light in between for humans. But it's interesting that octopus, and shrimp, not shrimp, their eyes suck. Octopus, cuttlefish, mantis shrimp are another one, oddly enough. They don't need a pupil. They have a clear memory. All the nerves connect to the back of the eye. Here, I have to kind of... One more picture is going to be drawn for the night, because I just saw info on this. And for my channel members, I'm going to post some stuff on the golden ratio, the golden spiral, Fibonacci sequence, on Jeff Kingsley's Zipfs law, the law of big numbers, Benford's law, and the Bader-Meinhof effect. I'll put some links to other videos and channels that are, they do it better than I do. But so human eye, this is the colorful part of our eye right here. And this is kind of like a cross section, and light enters through here, and we actually have nerves that originally, when we were like a little bug, they sensed light like a worm. So they saw either light or dark here, and then the nerves said something, and this all connected to the brainstem. So you're right, Steph Stevenson. White worms and grindle worms are annelids. They are not nematodes. Thank you for the correction. I get carried away sometimes. They're not nematodes, they're annelids. But they also have the photosensors, rather than an eye that has a pixelated view of shape. They have more of a off-on, light there, light not, or a gray tone of light being off or on. But are these cilia that used to sense light in our very early eyeballs, what happened is in that eye, these things came out straight like this, and they had the sensor here, and then they started reading the image that was projected onto this whole back area. And in the tapetum liquidum on cats and things, they actually have more sensors up here, so they can get light to reflect off basically a completely mirror reflective sphere here, and that traps light in here, and it allows them to restrict this hole even smaller. And that's why their eyes, instead of being round and taking up the most surface area possible, they're slits. Now, goats have square eyes. No one knows why. It's bizarre. But if you're looking at an octopus, their eyes look like this. This is the clear layer. And instead of having these things that had to evolve and curve to look back right here onto their own reflected eye, because our brain actually flips everything that we see. When it comes in, it reflects off of here, the light bounces back, but we see it upside down and mirror imaged. And octopus, they get their light, and it's like a rear projection television. Their cells on their light were all already here, and they actually grew in and through this membrane, which was clear, and this membrane grew even clearer. So now they have full visual sight as the light comes through. They don't have to have a pupil. Now, some of them do restrict things just to cut off the amount of light so that they can focus, but basically, their sensory nerves are all tucked behind the eyeball. They're not up in this area of the eye. So that's pretty cool. And that's why they have better eyes than us. Okay. So I see questions again. Let's get to some of these questions. If you wanted to catch the math part of this, where we played a game where you all shouted out numbers and we graphed a distribution and we went over all these things, you can go back and watch that 45 minutes of the episode. But let me finish up some of these questions, and then I'm going to bounce out of here so that other people can stream. Let's see here. Any fish? Let's see. Pi and the golden ratios are my favorite numbers. Me too, Lee. I would have to say they're up there with my favorite numbers for sure. There's reason 7 is also a very popular number that are culturally constructed more so than naturally. See, these are numbers that occur that are natural phenomenon that we've happened to see over time, and we've noticed, okay, there's a pattern that fits, and we made a law with our abstract concept of numbers to match the things we saw in nature, like fractals, Mandelbrot sets. When you see those, if you see a fractal, every ratio in it is going to be a piece of the golden ratio because they're drawn from data set numbers in a logarithmic graph projection of that data set. That's where it comes from. So it makes sense. It's not mind-blowing. Like some channels are like, they're sacred numbers. It's how you open your chakra and third eye or whatever. No, it's because that's how that image was made, was with those numbers and a graphing calculator and a logarithmic function. So in any case, Alex, do you know how to tell the gender of rainbow Stiphodon gobies when they are young? I don't when they're really young. But basically, the yellow fin is going to be the tell. Most Stiphodon, rainbow gobies, and neon blue, neon yellow, that they have color on their dorsal fin, caudal fin, pectorals, and ventral or anal fin. They've also got that color. So when you start seeing that, that's a good sign. And then sometimes the females have a little more turquoise behind the gill plate, whereas the males have it on the gill plate, on the actual flap towards the front. Sometimes that I've noticed. But usually you won't be seeing Stiphodons because as super young babies, because they're caught in rivers and things. They're not raised in captivity because they lay their eggs, which go out all the way to sea, live off of plankton, and then come back. So it's really hard to replicate. Only now are they starting to do a little bit of that, but like Palauan riffle gobies, They're collected in Palau off the island and then shipped to a main fish distribution hub, like Singapore or Taiwan, or Bangkok or whatever. Um, I used to start siphons by mouth, never cared. Now I'm hyper conscious of it. Clumsy. I so often splash water while doing changes or adding plants. I have a video called Can My Fish Tank Make Me Sick? Or Is My Fish Tank Making Me Sick? Can Your Fish Tank Kill You? Something like that. But it's an hour and a half of all the things that we know of that you can get from a fish tank, spread from zoonotical diseases. um, that is not a squid, that's a squib for a pen. That little symbol. To become a member, yes, Myrgel, if you guys want to become a member and get more access to more links to related content, behind the scenes stuff, things to do like that, join. It's only $1.99, and I usually give the best perks to everyone. And then there's other perks like shout outs or picking a video topic specifically that you can get if you want to support more a month. But really, it's a nod to the channel saying, I like what you're doing. I want you to be able to keep doing it because, you know, I'm trying to spend 40 hours a week. I'm trying to do research for videos, make them interesting. You know, I mess things up sometimes. I'm learning too, but we're always going to try to keep pushing ourselves and learning. Thank you for telling, or I will tell my wife that it was nice to see her on the show. Yes. Lee Wilcox, $1.99 a month. I can do that. Well, thank you so much, especially in your fancy, funny British money. That's nothing. That's a mere halfpence. I don't know. Is a halfpence still a thing? Let's see here. For fish tanks, if anyone will get sick, that would be me, and I'm fine so far. Yes, but you take immaculate care of them, George. Plus, you've lived through like every bad situation in the world on your way to becoming who you are today, which makes you awesome. But also, Lee is our first and only member of the day. Oh, wee Lee Wilcox from Newcastle upon Tyne. I don't know. Are you from Newcastle upon Tyne? I forgot where you're from. You're from an island. But thank you. $4.99. Oh, he joined the big boy level. All right. He's hanging out with the sharks. The other thing that's going to be going on in the spirit of communication, learning, and friendship, bridge building, because Father Fish, who I respect, like I said, he's 80 years old. He's got a lot of wisdom and a lot of experience with fish going back 70 years plus. However, him and I don't agree on a lot of things politically. Socially, we don't even agree on some things, you know. He does not approve of the reefer. I don't smoke it, but I don't care what you guys do. Go do whatever you want. Knock yourself out. But basically, we have decided that on his Discord, any of my members of this channel are also going to be welcome on his channel. So if you're a member of his channel or my channel, we're going to combine. And so, yeah, exactly, Lee. It'd be boring if we were all the same. But I want to show people, don't freaking unsubscribe to people if you think, oh, they talked about Trump, or oh, they love Hillary or Biden, or I don't know, Mao, whatever. I don't know, Mao's pretty extreme, but whatever. I mean, let's just focus on the content they're producing. If they annoy you because they're only talking about that, I get it, then whatever. But I'm trying to reach out, say, let's try to make this, in the year coming forward, a safe space for people on both ends of the spectrum. And now everyone always like, oh, you need a safe space where you can talk about your feelings. And that's what the right was saying about the left forever, and now the left's saying it about the right because the tables have turned again. They're going to turn back and forth forever. We need a safe space for everyone. You should be able to be who you are and just totally, you know, enjoy it. Like, come here, let's get along, let's learn. Let's learn. That's what it's about. And also, let's support each other. You know, we talk about what's going on in our day-to-day lives. Also, it is incredible what we see people doing, you know, in this community when they're hurt, they've got a disease, maybe they don't have that many family members, or they have a house fire, or their kid gets cancer, just some things like that, you know. Yeah, One Dirty Platy says safe space equals respect for one another. And that's like the only rule on my channel. And that's why it kind of makes me sad that you know, that people here, that we had to kind of ban someone tonight. Like, I don't know what was said. I didn't even see it. But I trust my mods, and it wasn't one mod that just did it. It was several people, and it's somebody that keeps getting the same, like, take it somewhere else. They got warned nicely, like, 5 different streams, and they still come in here and talk in all caps and hit enter every 5 seconds. And yeah, so thank you, mods, but bummer hours of tools they give us here. It becomes some elitist crap. But indoor fishing inside, thank you so much. We got another member. We got another member. Lee started a train. He started a conga line. Let's talk about Lee, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Indoor fishing says, I can afford $5. I might have to stop my grandparents' cigarettes. I know it's bad for them, but I love them so much. You know, you're saving your grandparents' life. No, I don't have any room to talk about that. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I know we all have our priorities. I do not. I'm not a member of every channel. I kind of circle around. I join memberships. With actually the money that I get from Patreon now has become my supporting the FishTube community money, because I think I have somewhere between 150 and 200 coming in on Patreon. I don't want to say that nothing, but they take a cut and then you get it. And so I'd rather make a bigger impact to more other small or medium, like me and smaller channels, and help them grow when I think they're doing really good things. I'd rather give them $5 or $10 a month, or 333 that if you guys see me in the chat, that's what I try to go do. I try to drop the 333 chat as many places as I can. Just seems like a nice number. Maybe I'll start dropping it. No, I won't. Like, that gets cheaper. I was like $1.86, or $1.68, I should say, to do the or a dollar. What is it? A dollar. Oh, I'm wrong. $1.61.8. I guess. Robert Dempsey, I disagree. That isn't a squid, but I respect your opinion. I think he has little eyes, but I see from where you're coming from. Well, it looks like a pen nib to me, but I'm on a mobile phone, and I wouldn't know what kind of squid it is anyways. I bet, and now that I finally got here, Jesse, you're probably right. It probably will end. Oh, right. Alex, thank you so much, Isabel. I appreciate you. Adam Fox, hello. The best dewormer for autos, I would say, like, you know, Paragard, Cure, stuff like that, that uses fenbendazole or flubendazole. So bottom line, fenbendazole, flubendazole. I don't want to say what product names because I mix those up sometimes, but the active ingredient you want is fenbendazole or flubendazole. And if it's a serious case like puffers and other catfish, sometimes like plecos, cories, woodcats, they come in, if they're wild caught, with some gnarly worms and nematodes and things in their gut because of the stuff they eat. Now, there is an argument for humans too that we get allergies because we don't have worms anymore. Throughout most of human history, humans have had worms, whether that's pinworms, tapeworms, whatever. And yes, it's caused malnutrition, but it has also, what it does is they secrete an anti-inflammation enzyme when they're in your gut, and it goes all throughout your blood and circulatory system. We're finding now that many people with severe autoimmune disorders, when they have worms, when they go on vacation to the tropics and things and end up with some nasty bug, their allergies totally clear up, or their psoriatic arthritis, or their eczema totally clears up, and then they treat the parasite and they get sick again. So I do wonder how many parasites, even though they may drain a fish of nutrients, maybe in that river it was full of calcium or whatever it is that they're really missing. Or maybe it does shorten their life, but it makes them immune to some other thing. So there are some unintended consequences that we get into sometimes with those things. And I do find it interesting. Levamasol is going to be your like nuclear bomb onto any sort of parasites. You can get that. It's pig and goat, cow, industrial dewormer. Can't buy it at just the store. But you can get like yeah, like the Paragard or like not Advantix like the main one, but there's another like Advantix. There's a few other dog and cat flea and worm treatments, mostly worm treatments for kittens and puppies. But there's a few different brands out there that you can get at some of the big box stores. Just look for the active ingredient: flubendazole, fenbendazole, or levamisole. And those are kind of in ascending order. Uh, Aristotle, thank you so much, Mike, because I highly appreciate it. We got another secret supporter. I really appreciate all the secret support. And always, I want my members to check the community tab. I'm posting more and more. I'm trying to keep you guys in the loop. I'm trying to, take pictures of the stuff I drew tonight, for instance. Maybe nobody wants to see it. Maybe a couple people do. Maybe you want to know how something was spelled, or it sparks an idea you want to use on your channel or in another part of your life, whatever it may be. But oftentimes I find that I'm going back and watching videos and hitting pause, and I'm like, what was that? And so I'm going to try to give more info like plant names, or if I do a list, more names of things like that. And that, I really appreciate that from other people. So I want to try to do it. Alexander, is Levamasol safe for shrimps and snails? In low doses, which are very, very tight thresholds, which is why I say you don't want to go to that one willy-nilly. I have used it in shrimp tanks. I have used it in snail tanks, and I have killed worms. However, there is a line that's like milligrams. So if you're using Levamisol, you want to go buy one of those sketchy Coke scales, Coca-Cola, of course, where you can measure milligrams, because it's that specific. You need to get down not to a tenth of a gram, but to like tenth or 1/300ths of a gram per gallon, things like that. So thank you very much, Aristotle. I really appreciate you coming here and sharing in the community. Yeah, so I think we're gonna just keep evolving as a channel. I like to do these really nerdy streams once in a while. Sometimes, it strays from fish a bit, but I wanted to put these ideas in your head because I've been looking at my tanks. I've been reading about these other things, about math, about geometry, and these issues, and I've been seeing them everywhere in the hobby now. So I want to challenge you guys in the comments in the coming days. If you can think of something else later and you're like, oh, that's kind of like what we talked about. That's either a set of 1 or 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. What's it go to after that? 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, and on ad nauseum. But I've got to go, you guys. Free up the airwaves. And I really do appreciate you guys coming. Thank you for the love to my wife. I know this episode I kind of had a structured thing where I was talking for 45 minutes, but we're going to have my wife back, I promise, because I'm going to make her. And hopefully when we get a house, we'll have more space, bigger fish room. We'll have a lot more projects going on and things like that. I've had to say no to a lot of like, hey, well, you want to have a free fish? I want to see it on your channel. And I'm like, cool, but I don't know what I'm going to do with 80 baby angelfish. But it would have been a great, thing to show spawning. Or, I don't know. That was a weird example. That never happened. But you know, an old pleco or something like that. Like I don't just take in random fish unless they're really hard up for a home. But thank you so much, mods. Thank you, lurkers. Thank you, friends. And Isabel, again, thank you so much for the gift card. It was really thoughtful. And I won't let you down. I'll share it with the community, what I end up with, to try to teach you guys with it. And in the end, hopefully I'll be able to breed one or two of the things and pay it forward by reasonably pricing it and getting it out into the hobby. So, all right, guys, I got to go for the night. I might be in chats later and whatnot. My wife usually goes to bed around 11 our time, and then it's party time for me. But yeah, check out the earlier part of the stream if you want to know the mathy stuff. And thanks, guys. And hello, Halen Bauer. But I got to go. Have a wonderful night, you guys. Take care of your critters. Take care of your plants, the people around you. And of course, take care of yourself. Because if you don't do that, you can't do the other things. And lastly, I think if we all did half those things half the time, our world would be twice as good. So let's do that. And let's treat someone who doesn't deserve it. Let's do something nice for them. Let's treat them well and try to change the world a bit at a time. You can do nice things for nice people too, but sometimes it blows people out of the water, especially if they know that they're messing up and you do something nice for them. Sometimes it'll stop them in their tracks. So have a good one. Change the way you look at the world. Keep learning, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.